I still remember the exact moment the silence hit me. The kind that doesn't just fall over a room, but claws into your chest. My phone buzzed, and I didn't recognize the number. A message from my own wife. "We need to talk." "Not here." I froze, the words sinking in like ice water. "Not here." I whispered to the empty kitchen. My stomach twisted, my chest tightened, and for a second I couldn't even breathe. For weeks, something had felt off. Little things at first. A delayed response to my texts, a vague excuse about being tired when I asked why she seemed distant. I blamed myself naturally. Maybe I wasn't enough. Maybe I said the wrong thing or looked too tired or just failed somehow. But deep down, a knot of dread had been growing, tightening with every small lie or omission. The day it became unbearable, I walked into the living room to find her scrolling on her phone. Something in her expression was different. Careless, almost amused, but deliberately hidden behind a mask. She looked up, saw me, and laughed. Not the warm, familiar laugh I loved, but a cold, airy sound that felt like glass breaking. "What's funny?" I asked, my voice harsher than I intended. "Oh, nothing," she said, tossing the phone aside. "Just work stuff." But it wasn't work. I noticed the way she flinched when I reached the phone, how her thumb lingered over a message she didn't want me to see. I wanted to confront her, but something held me back. I wanted proof first. I wanted reality, not suspicion. It started small, little signs she thought I wouldn't notice. Her phone left on the counter. Screen dimmed. Whispered texts she thought were secret. A sudden need for space or alone time. My mind ran wild, asking, begging, convincing myself I was imagining things. Maybe it was paranoia. Maybe I was overreacting. But I couldn't shake the feeling that our marriage was teetering on a knife's edge. Then came the message that shattered me completely. It wasn't meant for me, obviously. She had left her phone unlocked, and a text popped up mid-screen. "You were right. Last night was perfect. He'll never suspect." My heart stopped. My hands trembled. I read it again and again, each word like a hammer blow. "What? Who?" I muttered aloud, though the house was empty. The walls might as well have been closing in. I tried to pretend, tried to hold it together. I carried on with work, went through the motions, smiled when she smiled. But every glance at her felt like a betrayal. Every memory we'd shared, her laughter on our anniversary, quiet evenings together, the way she used to hold my hand, turned sour. I remember the humiliation at last year's dinner party when she'd openly mocked me in front of her friends, calling me ineffective and predictable. I had laughed it off then, trying to save face, but now it made sense. That wasn't a joke. It was a warning, a rehearsal. The confrontation came quietly. I didn't yell. I didn't throw things. I waited until she sat down across from me, her hands folded, eyes avoiding mine. "Tell me what's happening," I said, voice steady, though my chest ached with every syllable. She looked down, silent. Then a whisper. "I humiliated you and I thought it was funny. I didn't mean to hurt you like this, but I can't take it back." I felt like I'd been punched, then cut open, humiliated. And the truth was, I hadn't realized until now just how deep the damage went. The trust we'd built, the love I'd given freely. It was fragile, shattered, and her words, her laughter at my expense, had left scars I couldn't unsee. I don't exist to you anymore," I said quietly, not as a threat, not as anger, but as reality, because I realized then that I had to protect myself. I couldn't demand love or attention from someone who treated me like a joke. She reached for my hand, but I didn't take it. "I'm sorry," she whispered, but it rang hollow. It always would. I left the room, not slamming doors, not screaming, just walking away from the version of life I thought I had. There was grief, yes, and confusion, and a deep, aching sadness, but there was also clarity. I didn't need her validation. I didn't need someone who saw me as a punchline to define my worth. That night, I packed a few things, not in anger, but in quiet resolution. I didn't look back, not because I wanted to forget, but because I had to reclaim myself. Every memory that once stung now became a lesson, Each laugh at my expense a reminder that my dignity mattered more than someone else's amusement. I learned, painfully, that love doesn't justify humiliation. That kindness isn't owed when trust is broken. And that walking away isn't weakness. It's survival. Some nights, I still remember her laugh. Some nights, the ache returns. But more often, I hear my own voice in a quiet house, steady and strong, reminding me that I exist. And I exist for me first.